to our Sunday Dinner mini-series. I am your host, Alexandria, and as you know, my mommy, Sweet Benita, is not here with us today, but soon she will come and she'll have her little mini episode, especially with how she popped the head of that wedge salad. We still don't know how she did that, right? So, if you've watched this before, welcome back. If you haven't, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also ring the bell for the notifications because we'll continue to post. And I know you guys are bored in these Rona streets. So today's focus is going to be jasmine rice, because there's one thing that I am particularly good at is starches. Potatoes, rice, pasta, those things are just kind of near and dear to my heart, and a lot of people would think that they are comfort foods, and so I am. And we're also going to use jasmine because although, you know, people are like rice is rice, it's not. I remember when the whole shelter in place happened in the state of Texas and I was looking for jasmine rice, they had the Louisiana Cajun jasmine. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but it tastes different. And then Michaela, my daughter, my oldest baby, she was like, Mom, what did you do to this? And I was like, stop it. I'm already in my feelings because I can't get food and I'm trying to cook dinner for you all, and this is what you get. So, to get started, we're going to turn our oven on, our cast iron skillet. Now, mind you, just because I cook with cast iron, that doesn't mean you have to too. All of these recipes are universal. You can use stainless steel. If you're good with stainless steel, you can use Teflon. If you're good with Teflon, which I'm sure everybody is, just don't use metal in Teflon because it scratches it and then you have to buy a new pot. Anyway, so we're going to get this going. And I realized that I was talking so quickly is because I have a lot of things going on in my head and I have to get it out very quickly, or I forget. That's just what happens. So today I'm going to use canola oil and vegetable oil. And got that going in there. I'm going to go ahead and chop up my purple onion. And if you like white onion or yellow onion, that's fine. I'm going to use purple red onion because although the color is purple in the grocery stores, it's red. So I got a little less than half of an onion. And I'm just going to chop this up into cubes. And if you watched this show before, you know that Cubit is a very big deal between me and my mom, because she didn't know. She was like, what is Cubit? And I said, well, you know, into little squares. So we're going to square this up. And then once I get to like the end of the oven, it kind of gets a little bit sloppy, so we're just going to make these as cube as possible. And the close little squares as possible. Alright, so our skillet is heating, and I'm going to take all of this. And we're going to hear the sizzle, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Uh-oh. Stuff went everywhere, but we're not going to grab on the floor because that's dirty. So we're going to get this, and we're going to put this on here. Now, I like to season my onion. It just gives it a lot of flavor. And when I say that, I'm going to season it with the complete seasoning. And so I would say that's maybe half a teaspoon. This is optional. You don't have to do that, but I like to. It just gives it more flavor, you know? But the onion, the purple onion, if that's enough for you, then okay. So now we got that sizzling or whatever. And I'm just, you know, moving it around, breaking up some of that stuff, and get that going. While this is cooking down, this is probably going to take roughly 7 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get my metal rainbow cup because for some reason my child, so Tori, I have a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old. And my little one, when you ask her what her favorite color is, she says red, yellow, purple, orange, green, pink, blue. So I finally told her, I said, well, instead of going through all of that, say, Mommy, my favorite colors are the rainbow. And when I said that to her, she said, ah! She was just like, you're right. The rainbow is my favorite. And so we went through this phase of, so we have rainbow solo cups or iridescent or whatever you want to call it. Then I have rainbow champagne flutes. It's just this whole thing. So whenever I'm making rice, you can do, a lot of people get really involved with whether it's 1 cup or 2 cup. For me, I do 1 part, 2 part. So whatever 1 part of rice that I use, I'm gonna add 2 parts water. I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but I'll show you in here in a second. All right, so our onion is going, and it's starting to get that clear iridescent look, and it smells good. My temperature is again on medium high. Cooking in the skillet. We don't want our cast iron to get so hot, and that's when things start to stick and to burn to. It's like a grill, right? When you go and you light the fire, there's the big flames, and then the big flames causes the meat to get so too hot, and then it sticks to the grit. This is essentially the same thing. So got that going. Starting to smell, getting a little clear. Alright, I'm okay with this color. Mind you, this is hot, but I just want to show you all what that looks like. You know, I'm going to take this big piece of onion out because my mother is usually the chopper and I just don't do a good job. So I'm just going to fling that over there. I brought my finger. Fling that over there. Looks good. Alright, so now I'm going to get the rice. And what we're doing is we're toasting it in the oil. And I'm just going to dump all of that in there. Alright, we're going to set this to the side. Here's my favorite seasoning, the Knorrs. Guys, this is great. And I feel like instead of using salt, I just typically end up using this. So I'm going to get a tablespoon, maybe a little bit more. If you want to use a teaspoon, you can, but I prefer a tablespoon, and we're just going to drizzle that on top of there. And this is our seasoning for the rice, right? So we find the lid, cover this back up, because clean as you go, right? My kids say I'm a maniac in the kitchen, and then when it's time for them to clean up, they get sad. So we're just gonna toast this here, make sure that it's covered in oil. So now I like spice. I think spice gives it a lot of flavor and burn, so I'm gonna add a whole vinegar jalapeno. Can you use fresh peppers? Absolutely. You know, I like the added bustness that comes from the vinegar jalapeno. So I'm gonna get that, and so I've got the pepper, slice it in half, and now I'm just gonna chop it up just like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you know. I'm not a master chef, no, but when I get into the kitchen, it just really puts me in such a calm place. And maybe I'm a violent person, so the guy, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, that helps me edit these videos, you know, he always asks, can you chop the vegetables before we get here? And I always tell him no, because I find pleasure in you guys watching me chop. So got this going. You can kind of start smelling the toastiness of the rice. And you don't want it to turn black, right? Because no one likes that black burnt taste. And so, got this going. You hear it. You want to keep on stirring. And I would say maybe 1 more minute. We're going to let that sit here for a little bit. Maybe even add just a little bit more oil. So, you see, it seems just like a little bit dry. I'm going to add just a little more oil. And yes, the temperature of the oil is different, but that skillet is so hot, it's going to heat it up quickly. So that was probably a capful, if I say so myself. It was a capful. Yeah, now you can hear the sizzle. Alright, so far, we've chopped the onions, we seasoned it with complete seasoning. We added the rice to toast, and then my favorite Knorrs, my favorite chicken bouillon. We added that right here. And then also we added the jalapenos. So we're gonna let that toast up a little bit more, and then in a few minutes I'm gonna add 2 cups of water. Cause right, we used 1 cup rice, so we're gonna add just 2. I'm gonna take a sip. So here's the toastiness. It's not brown, or it's brown, but it's not all of them, right? So look at how toasty that is. And mind you, be careful handling that stuff. And you want to handle these with silicone gloves or cloth, whatever doesn't burn you. All right, so that's gonna go, and it's boiling right now. But once I add the second cup, it's not gonna boil. It's gonna simmer down. We hear it, we hear that it's gonna start happening, but it's gonna take a while. Now while I'm waiting on that, I'm gonna go ahead and add parsley. Just gonna put that down like that, and mind you, parsley is my favorite thing, guys. Just gonna sprinkle that on there. I'm gonna rinse my hand off. And we're gonna wait till this comes to a boil. And it's starting to rumble a little bit, but nothing so aggressive. We're gonna wash, I'm gonna clean up. And it's starting to move. I'm not gonna watch water boil because it says it takes forever in a day for it to go. So probably while I'm sitting over here talking to you guys, it's gonna come to a boil. So yeah, so if you like what you've seen so far, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you have any questions, I'm more than welcome. Just drop those questions down in the comments, and I'm pretty active on the page, so I'll try to respond to you as quickly as I can because I'm just obsessed with it. So okay, so it's boiling. I think this is good. I'm gonna mix the parsley in to the water so that it can get better communication with the rice. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but anyway, you want to get that in there really good. So now that it's on a boil, I'm going to put the lid on and turn my temperature down on low. And then we're going to come back in about 10 minutes and check on the rice then. But after this process, it probably takes it takes 20 minutes for the rice to fully cook. Okay, so it's probably been about 15 minutes. The water is evaporated. It looks pretty good, but you can kind of tell that it's not done because some of the rice coloring is a little bit lighter. So I'm looking here and I'm just like, maybe that's not done in here. So usually you don't want to stir because you don't want the rice to get mushy, but I'm just going to go ahead and mix this around because we want all of that fluid that's settled at the bottom to touch those pieces that are not cooked. So I'm pleased with how this color looks, and I'm going to cover this up and have it sit for I would say 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, and then it's going to be all right. While I'm waiting on that, I'm going to get a plate down because I'm going to taste it, right? So we're going to sit there, we're going to wait on that, and yeah, so 5 minutes. Guys, I gotta tell you, it is a little different not having my mom to bounce back and forth with, you know, but I am really enjoying this. And so yeah, so I'm just gonna sit here. And this is what I do anyway when I'm cooking by myself. The kids are in the garage watching TV, My Little Pony, Tiger King, whatever they watch while they're in there, which by the way, I don't think that I'm gonna be able to watch it this time. But yeah, so then I'm in here and I'm jamming and I'm just trying to, you know, get my mind and my thoughts right. I can actually just be here and be myself. If I want to take my shoes off, I do, no matter how greasy the floor is. And, you know, yeah, just get that done. So I think our rice is done. I'm not going to be brave anymore and continue to touch this thing without some gloves. So I'm going to get my mitts. I'm going to bring it over onto my cutting board. And yeah, so I'm pleased with how that looks. So turn that off, grab my spoon. Ooh. So remember how I did it last time? I scooped. This is hot. I'm just gonna pat that down with a knife. Because last time I made this with the meatloaf. I'm gonna let that settle. I'm gonna tap that right there and hopefully it doesn't fall apart. Yay! And that is my tower of rice. All right, so I'm gonna get a fork or whatever. And we're gonna taste it. It's hot. I'm good. Oh wait. So I was reading this meme and it said that there are two types of people: those who wait for the food to cool off, and those who just go the entire time that they're eating it. But I say that if it's not hot, it's not done, and if it gets cold, I'm gonna put it in there and I'm gonna eat it and go again. So yeah, I'm extremely pleased with how the rice came out. It's just the right amount of spicy. Again, if you don't like spice, you don't have to put the jalapeno in there. If you want to use fresh peppers, I encourage that as well. And so again, for all of you, if you haven't followed us, please follow, like, and subscribe, and also hit the ding, the bell, so that you can get our notifications. And with that, good